Chapter 11. Held Hostage. The fuel drivers hurried through the dark harbour with their long lines of tugging fuel barges. "Hurry up, lads!" called Gangster as he led the group of criminal tugs. "And be careful with those barges! Just one of them somehow catching fire could cause a very huge explosion!" Nearby, Sunshine was making his way through the harbour, his headlamp shining his way. He had taken fuel out to Lily Lightship as usual, and was now making his way back to the Star Dock. As he steamed along, he suddenly heard the sound of the fuel drivers nearby. "What's that?" He stopped where he was, looked around and listened. Then he spotted them moving quietly across the harbour with their lines of stolen tugging fuel barges. Sunshine was surprised to see so many barges. "Here, I know they run on fuel, but do they need that much? Something must be up. Perhaps I'd better spy on them." So Sunshine quietly moved from his post and turned towards where the fuel drivers were going. He kept a small distance behind them and turned off his headlamp and engine, just in case the light or the sound of his engine attracted the fuel drivers' attention and made them look around. Sunshine floated silently behind them, wondering where they were heading. Soon after, they arrived at a very old warehouse, which was the size of an airplane hangar at a quay. 2 old doors hung open. One by one, the fuel drivers entered with their lines of barges. Once the last barge of the last fuel driver had disappeared through the doors, Sunshine moved quietly beside the doors, hoping to see or hear anything worth paying attention to. Inside the large warehouse, it was dark and bare. All that was inside was a metal pole, its one end embedded in the waterbed, its other sticking out of the water's surface. The fuel drivers all stood side by side in silence for a while. Then, Gangster untied the first barge in his line from the second, pulled it forward near the metal pole, then turned so that he was facing the fuel drivers, and that they could see the barge from the side. The others watched. So did Sunshine. "This is what we need, you guys," Gangster announced with pride, "and we need lots of it. We sell as plenty of these as we can to get plenty of money. Of course, we then have to give all the money to Captain Fuel. But maybe, if we're really good, he may let us have some of it." "Let's hope so," added Pushover. "And we don't tell anyone we're doing this," went on Gangster, "because everyone knows this," his eyes narrowed and his voice deepened, "is illegal." At this last word, Sunshine gasped. And that was his mistake. The fuel drivers had all heard it, and quickly began looking at each other. "Who gasped?" Gangster bellowed, but no one answered. Then Gangster noticed the 2 open doors. It came from outside! Someone was listening in on us! He untied himself from the barge he had pulled off, and carefully but quickly moved towards the doors in between Mugger and Animal and their lines of barges. Sunshine heard Gangster coming for him and tried to turn around to run away, but Gangster was quicker and made it out of the doors and spotted the little switcher before he had managed to turn 180 degrees. "Hey you! What do you think you're doing? Eavesdropping on us, no doubt!"
No, I wasn't spying.
"Don't lie to me!" Then Gangster suddenly cast a rope onto Sunshine. Sunshine gasped and tried to pull away, but both Gangster and the rope were too strong. The big fuel driver pulled the small star switcher through the doors of the warehouse. As Gangster pulled Sunshine between Animal and Mugger's lines of barges and to the front of the other fuel drivers, they were all surprised to see that Gangster had brought a small switcher with him. "This little shrimp was spying on us," Gangster told the other fuel drivers. He turned to Sunshine. "Now I'm gonna have to teach you a lesson that we always teach to oldies who stick their stacks where they shouldn't, even if it means we'll have to give up a bit of money we hope to earn." He then tied Sunshine to the metal pole before turning back to the other fuel drivers. "We're gonna have to find a new place to hide out, guys, since this oldie found out. And besides," he smiled sinisterly, "this place won't last very long anyway." The fuel drivers untied themselves from their lines of barges, moved carefully round to the other ends of the lines and tied themselves back on. Then, one by one, they made their way carefully out through the doors. Gangster was the last to leave, and after the last barge in his line went out of the doors, he untied himself from his line and pushed the 2 doors shut before tying back onto his line of barges and leading the fuel drivers through the dark harbour once again. Sunshine was now all alone, tied up in the warehouse. All the fuel drivers had gone, and so had all the tugging fuel barges, except for the one which Gangster had pulled to the front. It stood right behind Sunshine. He thought Gangster, for a thug, was quite careless to leave this barge behind. He could report it as evidence to the Coast Guard if he could just break free of the rope tying him to the pole. Sunshine spent the next few minutes pulling on the rope, hoping it would break or that he could pull the pole clear out of the waterbed. But no such luck. As he continued to pull to no avail, he called out for help. But there was no one outside to hear him. Then disaster struck. As Sunshine continued pulling with what strength he had, a small ball of fire erupted from his stack and landed on the single tugging fuel barge, setting it alight. Sunshine gasped with horror as the barge began burning, flames flickering wildly. Smoke then began to billow from the blaze and rose to the roof of the warehouse, setting it on fire. Flames began to spread from both the roof and the barge, and soon the entire warehouse was on fire. "Help!" Sunshine screamed in fright, continuing to pull hard on the rope to no avail.
Chapter 12. Rescue.
Not too far from the burning warehouse, 10 Cents and Grampus were still trying to find the Coast Guard. They still had the fire barge with them. "We haven't seen him about," said 10 Cents wearily. "He probably isn't on night duty." "He must be fast asleep," sighed Grampus, feeling very tired. "Well, we've been the ones up all night investigating these happenings. We work harder than he does. We should—" But Grampus then noticed 10 Cents had stopped listening. He was looking away from him. Grampus was puzzled. "What is it, 10 Cents?" 10 Cents looked at Grampus with an alarmed expression. "Grampus, I can see smoke coming from starboard. There must be a fire at the quay. Come on, let's go." The switcher and submarine sped off to starboard, and in less than a minute they arrived at the burning warehouse. Smoke billowed from the giant flames, making them struggle to see. "Good thing we brought that fire barge!" exclaimed Grampus, horrified at the sight of the burning building. All of a sudden, from inside the warehouse they heard a frightened cry. "Help! Help! Did you hear that?" Grampus gasped with alarm. "Someone's trapped inside! Help! Sunshine!" 10 Cents cried, recognizing the voice of his best friend. 10 Cents, I'm going in to get him out," called Grampus. "You spray water at that fire barge." And he quickly disappeared through the double doors of the burning warehouse. "Yeah, be careful, Grampus," 10 Cents called after him as he turned on the fire barge and began spraying water all over the flames. Grampus raced quickly through the warehouse, being careful to avoid flames that were spreading across the water, and he found Sunshine tied to the pole and covered in dirty ashes. "Grampus!" Sunshine exclaimed with surprise. "Sunshine, how did you—" Grampus broke off. "Never mind, not now. I gotta get you out of here." He untied Sunshine from the pole and quickly pulled him towards the double doors. When they emerged from the burning building, 10 Cents was very relieved to see Sunshine was all right. "Oh, Sunshine, oh, how glad I am to see you're okay!" Sunshine replied with a series of coughs, followed by, "So am I!" At that moment, the three of them heard the sound of a siren quite near to them. The fire tug arrived on the scene. Now, is everyone all right?" "We are now," replied Grampus. 10 Cents has managed to control the flames a bit. Good. Hand me that barge, 10 Cents. I'll take it from here. 10 Cents gave the fire tug the barge. Then he and Grampus towed Sunshine away from the burning building and headed back towards the Star Dock. So what were you doing in there, Sunshine? Asked 10 Cents.
I was kidnapped.
Kidnapped? Grampus remarked thoughtfully.
Yes, I noticed you were tied up. But who kidnapped you?
Ugh, the fuel drivers. 10 Cents and Grampus stopped. They looked at each other with shock.
What's wrong?
Sunshine asked, puzzled. Something, frowned 10 Cents, is definitely up. The next morning, Captain Star sent the whole Starfleet off to work except 10 Cents, Sunshine and Grampus. He wanted to know what 10 Cents and Grampus had discovered the night before. He had also been told about the fire. The Coast Guard was also present, taking reports. 10 Cents and Grampus began their story of how they discovered Bluenose trapped, having been pushed by the fuel drivers, trying to take the tugging fuel. Sunshine then explained about how he discovered the fuel drivers' plan to illegally sell the tugging fuel barges before they discovered him and kidnapped him, and how he accidentally set the warehouse on fire. This is all very serious, remarked the Coast Guard when Sunshine had finished. I shall take everything you've told me into account. Right now, Captain Fuel and his fuel drivers are wanted for questioning. I shall do some investigating right now. And with that, he turned around and left the Star Dock. What shall we do, sir? 10 Cents asked Captain Star.
Your work.
You've done enough, 10 Cents. We'll let the police sort this out. Off you go to help OJ deliver some barges. Grampus, take Sunshine to Lucky's yard for a checkup. Sunshine, if you aren't too badly damaged, there are some logs to be taken upriver. Off you go. So 10 Cents, Sunshine and Grampus left, all feeling a little disappointed. They had found out so much. They wanted to get involved even more. They soon would be.